baby now. Got no use for that red rocking chair. I've got no sugar baby now. I've got no honey baby now. Who'll rock the cradle? Who'll sing that song? Who'll rock the cradle when I'm gone? Who'll rock the cradle when I'm gone? When I'm gone. When I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, 'cause I've got no sugar, honey, baby now. Hello and welcome back to FiddleUP. I'm Emerald Ray, and today we're going to learn a song called Sugar Baby. And this is a really awesome old-time song that I got from Doc Boggs, who's no longer with us. He's a banjo player, singer from a long time ago. It's like Smithsonian archival recordings territory. And yeah, this one is just such a cool one. And, you know, again, it's very bluesy. And I'm playing it in G-D. So if you're ready to learn this song, it's time to, while I'm chatting, retune your fiddle into G-D. So I have the two bottom strings are G, D, and then the top two strings are tuned down to A. The A and E string are tuned down to G and D. So this is a sympathetic tuning. So I have two G's and two D's. And this is just such a classic tuning. It was used in Celtic music as well, although this tradition has all but died out, except for a few of us crazies that still do it. And it's called high bass in Scottish music, and it's usually an A-E-A-E, and that has to do with the bagpipes and things like that. But this is actually my G fiddle. This fiddle lives in this tuning and is my second fiddle in my fiddle case. So if you see me play live and I have the two fiddles, that's what's going on. I have this G fiddle. And I love to call this fiddle, you know, my blues fiddle, because it's got a lot of story to it. It's been through the wars. It's 160 years old, and it's covered with scrapes and scratches and everything. And it's this color because it was in a fire. It's technically been smoked, so that's why it's not orange like that color. So this song is a really classic one, but not a whole lot of people do it. It's you know, it's been recorded a whole bunch of times, but these days it's not done too often. So it's not so much session material, although you could make it session material if you wanted to. So it starts off with a nice zhuzhy kind of like zhuzh. I'm sorry if I keep using that word. Zhuzh is my word for just some bowing rhythms. You know, I kind of started calling it zhuzhing at some point, and it just has stuck in a way that I can't shake. So what I'm doing here is a bowing rhythm over a triple stop. In fact, over a quadruple stop at some point. So the beginning sounds like. So. And sometimes I'm adding a little bluesy third in there. sometimes it's fun to mix it up, shake it up. But I like to just get the rhythm going before I get into this song. And then the beginning is pretty easy. The first verse is just using that triple stop again. Later, shade, give her every dime I made. So I'm kind of falling into it. It be dictated by the rhythm of the song quite a bit. So it mixes up just slightly. So the lyrics for this is, later in the shade, give her every dime I made. Oh, what more could a poor boy do? What more could a poor boy do? So pretty simple. So it gets a little complicated when you add this bowing in though. Later in the shade, give her every dime I made. Oh, what? And then I'm going to that bluesy B on the bottom. It's a kind of, it's technically a B flat, but it could slide into bluesy territory at any time. So, oh, what more could and then going to a C there, poor boy, and then back to the G, to the B flat and the C, back to the G. Okay, so all together that sounds like, later in the shade, give her every dime I made. Oh, what more could a poor boy do? What more could a poor boy do? So I'm playing the fiddle part kind of full out because I want you to hear it, but it will drown out the vocals as you're probably hearing right now. So I would just try to keep it really light. When you're in a cross tuning like this, the fiddle gets twice as loud somehow. So balancing the voice and the fiddle is going to get a little bit tricky. So I'm a belter and even I struggle with this all the time. So so we'll just stick with that for now. But try to keep it quiet. So another thing you can do to play a little bit more quietly is play a little bit more on the fingerboard. Later in the shade, give her every dime I made. What more could a poor boy do? What more could a poor boy do? There we go. And so the next part is, I've done all I can do and I've said all I can say. I can't get along this way. I can't get along this way. So it's, I've done all I can do and I've said all I can say. Oh, I can't get along this way. I can't get along this way. So that's technically 2 verses, I think, however you split this up. And then I have this chorus that I changed. I actually took the original version and made this a little bit different. And you're free to do that with your traditional songs. You're free to change one of the verses and make it a little bit more chorusy. And that's what I have done with this song. It's a good way to take a traditional song that's kind of all stanzas and turn it into a little bit more of a pop format. You can take one maybe one repeater line or something and just make it a little bit more of a chorus type thing. You can also take one verse and turn it into a bridge somehow by maybe changing the chords or making a big deal out of one line or something like that. So I think it's really important with these traditional songs to give the modern people some signifiers that they can cling on to. And, I enjoy songwriting and song arranging. So this part's kind of fun for me. So if you want to go back and listen to the original version and do that version, then that's great. But it's also fun to just do things a little bit different sometimes. So this part, I like to go to this is a we've got a G, a B flat, and an E flat here. So this B flat on the bottom, and then an E flat, and then an open G at the top. So that's an E flat chord right there. And I'm singing this away. So that's just the E flat chord. And then to open G. And then adding just the B flat on the bottom. And then I do that again. This away. And then I go to a C on the bottom and an F and a G on top. So we've got kind of an F chord. But it sounds weird because we have a G on top. So it's a little tensiony. And then we go back to the E flat chord again. And then I'm going to a little bit of a F chord, I guess it is. And that is just an A on the bottom and an F on the D string. And I do a stop. Got no sugar, honey, baby now. So let's do that whole thing as far as we've got it, because the second part's going to be very similar to it. So I want to make sure we get this down. So start from Later in the Shade. Later in the shade, give her every dime I made. And you could slow that down, make it a little bit different. You don't have to do that stop, but I think it's kind of powerful. That line, I've got no sugar, honey, baby now, just sticks out anyway. And I feel like it's a nice moment to kind of break things up, take a break, give my bow arm a chance to reset. And then I go into the instrumental. That's sort of like the melody, but not really, that I made up. So you can absolutely do this with your traditional songs. You can just slap any old tune, or you can make up a little ditty. As much as I hate the word ditty, make up a little thing to go in there. So that is actually what's happened with this tune. And I don't actually get to the B part of this tune until the very end, which I'll go over in a minute. But yeah, if you wanna steal this one, so you can make up your own tune, or you can steal this one. So if you can see my fingerboard, I'm really utilizing this open G situation. So it's going to be, if you've never done G, D, G, G before, it's going to be a little disorienting with the fingering going all over the place, but this is going down to an F. And you get that G over it. So if you're not used to that, might want to take some time to get used to it. And then, so I just take that and vary it a little bit, because it's nice to vary things each time. and then continuing on. And then go back to the top of the A part again. And then do that little variation. Got no use. So yeah, and then going into the second verse block here. You could either think about this as verse 2 or 3 and 4, however you want to think about it. So this is like the classic red rocking chair line, which comes up in a whole bunch of songs. And, there's obviously a ton of songs called the red rocking chair, which are in and of themselves sort of like this song, but totally different also. Like I said in a previous video, like there's really only like 5 old time songs. They're just kind of like split up and spread amongst each other. There's a lot of repeated lyric blocks and repeated verses in different songs. So this is one of those moments where you might have a version of this song that's more about the sugar baby and the whole relationship part, and then you get one that's more about the red rocking chair and just like it's a whole different storyline almost, with a different melody, different chords, just a whole song unto itself. But it is the same song root. It was the same song at some point way back in the mists of time. So got no use for that red rocking chair. I've got no sugar baby now. Who'll rock the cradle? Who'll sing the song? Who'll rock the cradle when I'm gone? Some people say who'll rock the cradle when she's gone, or who'll rock the cradle when he's gone, or whatever. I actually like to keep it a little bit neutral. Like, who will rock the cradle when I'm gone? Like, who's going to help me with this? So it kind of it brings the focus a little bit more to the main character of the song, I think. So that's why I say that. So other people will take different things from that. But I just made the conscious decision to say, why not just say like, who'll rock the cradle when I'm gone? It's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen with a half a dozen of the other. So if you ever wander into any of these things in traditional songs where something just doesn't feel right, with the with the gender of the song, or with the the storyline or whatever, you can make little changes. That's why there's 100 different versions of every traditional song, because everybody changed something at some point, and you're free to do that as well. So anyway, that's how I do it. So it's exactly the same fiddle part as what we were doing before. There is only one thing that I do slightly different, is I kind of like hang out on some phrases with the singing. So I'll show you how I do that. So I sing, got no use for that red rocking chair. Now you might not have noticed that even going by when I was singing it before, but I, instead of singing got no use for that red rocking chair, got no use, 2, 3 for that red rocking chair. And then it gives me an opportunity to kind of come in and go, for that red, like really go pop diva style on that part. It's something I like to do. So you can go ahead. Sorry, we're in G. So you can do that if you want. You can also block it out and go back to the same timing if you want. So I'll show you what that looks like. Got no use for that red rocking chair. No sugar baby now. I got no honey baby now. Who'll rock the cradle? Sing that song. Who'll rock the cradle when I'm gone? Who'll rock the cradle when I'm gone? And then we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the first chorus, but we're going to use when I'm gone on. And so it sounds like this. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, works. So again, it's okay to change the verses and do all that stuff that you like to do. So I've taught you the A part of this fiddle part. What I usually do is hang out on this fiddle tune for a minute and then blast into some other fiddle tunes in open G. And I like to use this as kind of like a segue actually into doing some fiddle tunes. So the only part I haven't shown you is the B part. If you're hankering to learn the sort of B part of this kind of tune that only gets played in the song by me. So I'm just sliding up. I'm doing this fourth double stop. So I have a second finger on the top G, and then first finger on the top D. So it's kind of a weird thing to do. Not really a tune. It's almost kind of like a little bit kind of banjo sounding in a weird way. So it's so similar to the A part. I don't even, like, we're not even going to go over all of it, but I just want to show you how these slides work. So you see how I'm kind of anticipating there a little bit? Kind of comes in before the next beat. And then I do something that I like to do probably too often. I do this double harmonic up at the top. So I've just slid up and then open string and then hit this top double harmonic. That's a harmonic over the top G and D strings. And then go back to that fourth double stop there. Try to hit that a little bit there. So I'm just kind of adding a little bit of wildness at the top. It's kind of good to play things the same twice and then vary it up on the third time. So that's all I'm doing there. I'm just adding a little wackiness at the top and then finishing the tune. Is usually the moment that I crash into some other G tunes, and you're welcome to do that too, obviously, or just stop it there, whatever works for your arrangement. So I hope you love this song. I love this song so much. I've been singing this song for a really long time, like 10 years or something. So it's stuck with me. It's really fun to do in the show. It's groovy and cool, and people like it. So it just kind of stays in the set list all the time. So it's a good one. I stand by it. So I hope you enjoyed too. If you want to sing the whole thing, rewind to the beginning. I realize I've said rewind a couple times here. I'm dating myself a little bit by saying rewind, but that's okay. You can giggle at me if you want. And I will see you in the next video.